Okay, welcome back to the channel, everybody, and it is officially springtime. So it's actually what time is it? What is it, like 6, something like that? 7 o'clock, and we still have sunlight out. Yeah, so springtime is finally here, which means I gotta get my ass in gear. I'm already finished up a lot of the paperwork. Oh, yeah, we actually have right inside the house, not outside, so it's not barking finally. Anyways, I gotta get my shit in gear in order to finish up this chopper if I can have any chance of riding it this summer. Which means I had to make a decision. And I sold a 103. And I'm gonna put the 88 twin cam back in here. And the biggest reason why is because I already have the front engine mounts made. Or I didn't make them, but it came stock with Harley Davidson. But these mounts are already made for that engine, which means I don't have to dick around and make new mounts for the 103. Next chopper I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do something special with that. But anyways, I think the best route of action is to focus on one category at a time. And since I spent almost all winter working on the frame alone, like look at that. We got the sissy bar all mounted up, the tabs, the hardtails all welded in, the backbone's in, the neck is done, gussets done, the down tube is done, mounted, all of it's all welded. And the only thing left to do with the frame is the top mount and transmission mount and a few bungs to hold everything else in place. Got the front end, I got a shit ton of parts coming in because I sold that 103. But for the time being, until those parts come in, I figure keep myself busy and get working on the tins. Also got tins for that. Part of that's gonna be for my seat pan. The other is gonna be my tunnel for the tank. So I figure I'm gonna do a quick measuring out the tank, see how long, if I need to stretch it, I need to narrow it, see what I want to do. And then next time you see me, I'm going to take the anger grind to it and start actually chopping it up to see what I can work with. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, so you can see right here, I made myself a Sharpie line. And yes, this whole fuel pump window is going to go bye-bye. This is going to be nice sealed in like a Fat Bob tank. And I'm going to cut it right down the middle here. Nice even spacing from the weld seam here, which is running right to this weld seam, and I can run it right under and just hit all these welds here, so that way I can actually either cut this part right out and make it perfectly flat. Same thing with over here. You can see this actually had a bigger gap, so in order for this to be nice and symmetrical, I'm actually gonna have to make a tank that either had a small radius at the bottom or have it flat to run all the way along here. I might go flat because I gotta put a new fuel pump window in here. Or yeah, I'm just going to get these lobes cut off and get that measured out and see whether or not I actually want to, like I said, either cut it right down the middle here and stretch it out, cut off this section and have a bigger rounded lobe instead of a more acute lobe. And yeah, so and also start cutting, and I can also use the sign to cut out. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing this. I'm thinking about just going from the inside of the tank, trimming at the bottom, then flattening, put a new flat piece of metal on top and weld along here and flatten the shit out. I am going to keep this in place on this side, just because this is already perfectly sealed and it's already a vented gas cap. So I'm going to rock with just a one here, have this flat, and I'll have all this canvas down the road to paint. So let's bust out the ink. We'll change out the disc on the anger grinder, something sharper, and just start running the blade right across here. And since I really like this distance, but I made a few temps over here, I made reference arrows to what line I want to run this. So just connect the arrows as this goes down. And obviously I can hit with a flap disc, smooth it all out later once I start working on the tunnel. Alright, let's get to work. Alright, yeah. Alright. Get yourself plugged in. Alright, safety first. So here's our first initial cut. That's connected right here. The good thing about sheet metal is that even if you're off by a little bit, since I'm actually going to just recover all this, this is all have to be cut out anyways, this all has to be cut out anyways. I should also probably make a reference line here, but I'll do that once I get cutting this side. And another thing, I left all these holes ventilated, ran water through it, and there is no gas fumes in here. I should probably mention that first. If you're going to cut into any gas can, make sure all the fumes are out before you have essentially a ticking time bomb. But did that first, and like I said, this thing spent months ventilating, evaporating, cleaning itself out. There are no fumes in here, otherwise you would have saw me just go pfft. And that would have been an awesome thumbnail, wouldn't it? But yeah, so I'm just going to finish running the blade right through these weld seams here, and then try working my way underneath. All right. And I think just for simplicity reasons, I'll get back to you once I have this lobe right off. All right, see you soon. Oh, it's okay, see you soon. Okay, so I was riding that blade right close this time. Okay, right? No, inside. If he goes outside, he'll be barking non-stop, okay? So you have to stay inside. But yeah, here's the inside. Here's a tunnel. Essentially, this is what I'm just trying to cut out, which will free me up all these lobes here. And this is going to be the foundations to my next tank. But you can see on the inside here, this stuff, this is to protect the metal from rusting. You can see there's a little bit of rust spots there. This is just your protective liner on the inside. Oh, I gotta get rid of that too. And prevents anything from rusting. It's a coating. But you can see, before I even started cutting, I was having all these things flake off. So all this stuff was essentially going into my old fuel filter here. So this is not good. So if you are going to build your own tank, or if you do order a tank online, also get yourself a kind of a protective layer chemical. They sell them usually on the same site, Paco or TC Bros, Lowbrow Customs. Anywhere that sells gas tanks should sell tank liner, essentially. And you just coat it and go. So yeah, I'm going to finish chopping off the last little excess, and then we can start working on the next part of the tunnel, which is just going to be a zippity-doo, a zippity-da, and zippity-doo. Underneath is a lot harder. Grinding upside down is a pain in the ass. But yeah, we're going to have these right off, and hopefully it'll be a lot easier to grind off the rest of the paint. Like, I wonder if it's too late to go back. Alright, we'll see you once the tunnel's out and the other lobe is off and this is free. And then we can start making our next plan of action. Alright, see you soon. Oh, that's a vent tube. I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, right there. This right here, it's called a vent tube. This prevents any excess pressure building up inside the gas tank. So, let's deal with that at a different time. Oh yeah. Okay, so get the thing out of the vise. So this is what I didn't needed that I don't need. Just this. So yeah, I'm probably gonna fabricate something else up for the vent tube of some kind. I think you can get gas caps are vented. I'll have to look into that, because I am now officially booched. Because I thought this was just a hose. I didn't know there was a secondary line going into it. And at the end of the day, even when you're cutting these things off, it won't really matter because, well, if you're going to cut it in half, because these things are soldered in there, is soldered into the gas funnel. So this is going to be a situation I'm going to solve at another time. But that, I think I might just chop off a few extra bits off of that and kind of use that to help create any patchwork I need. I still got a bunch of other miscellaneous sheet metal that can actually kind of fill in anything else. But I think for right now, next step is to kind of clean them up, grind off all the edges, make it smooth so I won't cut myself too much on it. And after that, I'm going to start measuring and eyeballing and see what I want in the end. Alright, be right back with you guys. So as we're here, I just cut out the extra incest that would fall along that line. So when I make myself a new gas tank, this is just going to be flush, which will actually add a little bit more volume. So more gas can ride farther, you know. So going to keep on tinkering away, clean up the edges, go back and forth on the frame and see how I want it before I start actually bending over the sheet metal for the down. It's like tunnel. It's a tunnel I need to work on next. All right, see you in a second. Okay, so this hole was not the gas cap. This used to be the on the left side of you will be your gas gauge. The thingamabobber. So all I did, instead of trying to cut around here, I just literally cut the recess that ran the wires through, and I just hit it with the flap disc to a nice circular radius. So what I'm going to do now is take some of this sheet metal and kind of form it to shape it a little bit, and so that way I can lay it, so I can cut it out and lay it, one-handed, lay it right on top, and actually kind of fill in this recess with some weld, grind it flat, and even if there's a tiny little divot, I can hit it with some Bondo. It'll be alright. I know there'll be some purists out there who would absolutely despise Bondo, but hey, there's a reason why we have it. Why not fucking use it, eh? So yeah, gonna shape this bad boy to the inside, double check it on the outside. Maybe I should just do it on the outside and then run my pen underneath and then cut it out. Probably gonna need some tin sniff for that, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So we're going to get that cut out and hopefully get this part sealed up, because it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to do any kind of welds like this when this whole section is out and before I make the tunnel. Alright, be with you in a second. Alright, got the piece all cut out. Going to try tacking it all nice all together. Putting that in there. Find basically, essentially the grain where it wants to naturally curve. So it'll fill up as much gap as possible. Yeah, that would do. So working with sheet metal. This is the first time I'm actually working with sheet metal. And from what I understand is, leave my helmet. If you don't want to immediately start running a bead all the way around, you also want to make like 8 points of contact. So you start from the top, then to the bottom, to the right, to the left, move in a quarter way, and do the exact same star pattern. So that way it doesn't have a chance to warp drastically. And then you can start running some nice beads slowly. Like I said, you'll connect two beads there, and then go on the outside, connect two, connect. It just patch by patch, stream by stream. So yeah, find a nice soft spot right up. Yeah, this should. I'm not sure it's actually welding per se. Trying to round up a little bit differently. Let's get back to you guys, because I know this shit's going to doesn't pick up on camera all that well. So I'll get back to you once I start having some decent beads. All right, bye. All right, welcome back, guys. I don't even remember where a lot of time left off. Oh yeah, we cut up the old gas tank there from the 2003 Softail gas tank. You still see some remnants off that. And now we got some new sheet metal. This is some thicker 16 gauge sheet metal. And you see the score line of how long I'm going to have my tunnel. I'm going to have it about 20 inches, which will give me some leeway room to kind of cut off, adjust. But I don't need to use this whole width. Basically, what I'm going to do is basically turn this gas tank that would normally sit kind of like that and have a tunnel that runs just slightly below the backbone here. So in order to figure out how wide I want to use this, I just gotta run either like a piece of cardboard or something up and over to kind of make a bit of a U shape. And to get the general length of what I'm going to go for, I'm just going to use an old cigarette pack. I made the tunnel. I have the gap. Well, as you can see, it's not the most even, but I still have plenty of leftover sheet metal to work with. Been running a few experiments. Wasn't sure what I was going to do too much about the tail section there. I think for right now, like nothing's stopping me from building another gas tank down the road. One thing I gotta take into consideration is the vent tube. I'm probably just gonna tack up here, here, and here. Just make 4 points, flip it, and probably tack again just on the flats. And so that way, at least that way, I should be able to move it. I might even just run some duct tape right across here to kind of keep it together more, and kind of just hop it back and forth off the frame. As you can see, we don't have the 103. We actually went back down to the 88, solely for the fact that this already had engine mounts. So all I have to do is a top motor mount and a transmission mount. So it just cuts down the work. But we're not working on that right now. We're gonna wait for my buddy Logan to get back to me, and we're gonna tackle that together. So right now I just gotta fix my bent fender, work on the gas tank, and realistically that's all I really need to do for tins, and make a few tabs for my oil bucket and ECM. And from there we can start running the wires and get a few more things. I actually do have a lot of a large package coming from Throttle Addiction and TC Bros coming in the next few weeks, hopefully within a week or so. And that's mostly for my front end there. Hopefully we can get that on camera. So we're going to put you guys down. We're going to start tacking this up, mostly because it's kind of hard to operate a camera while working at the same time. Mostly I also like to listen to music. So once I get this all tacked up, you're going to see it on the frame, and we'll plan our next strategy, next step of attack, next plan of attack after that. And damn it, boy. Yeah, you hiding, dog. Yeah, we're gonna get a bark collar for him one of these days. Anyways, we'll see you soon. Bye.